Wager Talk college basketball tip-off show anchored by Dave Koken and Ralph Michaels has been a success. Dave and Ralph wanted to personally thank each and every one of you who watched the show by having a blowout college hoops special to end the season. How would you like to get every release for the rest of the regular season, all the conference tournament selections, plus March Madness through the national championship on April 5th, or any other postseason play? Now, how about paying only $2.99? Well, $2.99 each is a very fair price, but they wanted to offer a blowout season special. If you go to Dave or Ralph's Wager Talk homepage, you'll see a $2.99 special for both cappers to get college basketball through the Final Four. Now that is a thank you.
All right, away we go, guys. Welcome in another edition of the College Basketball Tip-Off Show here on this Wednesday, March the 3rd, powered by WagerTalk.com. Great card here as we wind down the regular season in college basketball. We do have a few tournaments underway. We got a few games we're going to talk about here on the show, including Creighton and Villanova. We're going to talk UConn, Seton Hall, UCLA, Oregon, and Mizzou taking on Florida. And we're going to do it here with, of course, three of our favorite handicappers from WagerTalk.com. And even, I don't know, maybe one of them from SportsMemo.com. As Mid-Major Matt in the house here today. Always a pleasure seeing him. Tony Mejia also back in action. And, of course, we welcome Dave Koken back. Take a look, guys, at the Twitter handles. Always a great follow here from these three gentlemen. At Mejia Dinero, at Mid-Major Matt, at Dave Koken. And getting to be crunch time right about now here, guys. And Tony, welcome back in, my man. How was your night last night? And what do you got going on today at Wager Talk?
Pretty good college basketball night. I only got screwed by one of the issues in the Horizon League tournament, which is ridiculous. What an amazing set of quarterfinals. Got beat at the buzzer with Detroit. Ended up, we were talking about Duke, Georgia Tech yesterday. Last second, I said I got over my pain from that first game and went with Georgia Tech. So that was a good recovery. My NBA wasn't as hot. We'll talk about that on the NBA show. But yeah, things are going well. Lots of college games today, so we'll look to bounce back there. Most profits at Wager Talk over the last 7 days, so hope to continue that.
Yep, over 30%. Awesome job. And Mr. Koken, you continue to dominate, my friend. 17-5 college basketball and NHL run. 2-0 so far in conference tournaments. And looking to add to that today, I'm sure. How are you, sir? What do you got going on today?
Just one college basketball play today. I've pretty much called it a day as far as the regular season games are concerned. It was a minefield out there last night, and I think you're going to see a lot of strange results over the next few days on the regular board. So I'm focused on the conference tournaments. I did come up with one play I like tonight in the Ohio Valley Conference. Have a hockey game as well, and 4 golf outrights for my all-access subscribers looking to build in that 20-1 winner last week.
Awesome stuff. That's it. Cashing his first one of 2021. More to come there, guys, in golf. Make sure you're following Dave. Check him out at WagerTalk.com. And Mid-Major Matt, SportsMemo.com. I believe you and I are the kind of degenerates that would bet on an 11 a.m. basketball game today. Am I correct there, Mid-Major Matt?
Of course. Rode St. Joe this morning, so already got a win under my belt. And I got to play in the next game, too, the Fordham-George Washington game. So hopefully a 2-0 start to the day. 4-1 yesterday. I was all Horizon League and all MAC. Benefited from the Bowling Green game going to overtime. Benefited from the Wright State game going to overtime. Benefited from the Youngstown State game going to overtime. So I got a couple breaks. And my only loss was the Detroit buzzer beater. So it was a good day, 4-1. And 1-0 to start the day with 4 plays coming up a little bit later.
Thank you, Ryan Daly. All right, good stuff here, guys. We're going to dive into our first game. Before we do, I just want to remind you, Dave and Ralph Michaels, we gave him the day off, but Dave and Ralph have the opportunity for you to grab every one of their selections from now right through the national championship. That's $2.99, not for each. That's for both. You get both Dave and Ralph Michaels, all access to their college basketball selections, just $2.99 now through the national championship. Head over to WagerTalk.com. Take advantage of that. While we take a look here at the first game up, it's going to be Creighton and Villanova. And Tony Mejia, I am coming to you first because this Villanova squad here is, it's been a little up and down here over the last month of the season. Are you anticipating a turnaround here today? Do they take care of business against this Creighton squad? And he's frozen. Go ahead, you got it. Go ahead. No, you're good
Okay,
now.
good.
Go ahead.
All right. No, I was saying you didn't miss much, but I was saying that this is a complete pass for me because it's a game that I want to sit back and watch because that's how bad Villanova was against Butler over the weekend. I absolutely did not expect that, considering Butler was shorthanded and Villanova was supposed to really control tempo in that game. Colin Gillespie was off. Only Robinson Earl played well. They were yelling at each other in a good way, not in a Texas way. But I think that there is a little bit of an intensity infusion that's necessary for Villanova to take that next step. Maybe it's the fact that the season has, dealt with so many interruptions, but they don't look like a Jay Wright Villanova team that's supposed to be among the top 10 in the country this season. They don't look like it should entering March.
Dave, we saw this, I think it was back in mid-February, and it didn't go well for Villanova there either, although that was on the road. You anticipating anything different here in this matchup?
Well, this is a real tough game because I think Creighton's the better team. I have them rated higher than Villanova. I know that most observers probably have Villanova rightfully favored over Creighton on a neutral court. I would disagree. On a neutral court, I have Creighton favored. But the situation does favor Villanova. Coming off a bad game with revenge, this is a big statement game for them. I think it's a more important game for Villanova than it is for Creighton. So it's a conflict for me. I'm certainly not going to lay 5 points, but I don't think backing the numbers is the right way to play this game. So I can't take Creighton. If I had to play it, I'd take Villanova on the situation, but I'm going to stay out of it.
All right, staying out of it. And Mid-Major Matt, every time you seem to be on this show, I know you're looking at a Creighton first half. You're going an over in a Creighton first half. Probably not good against Xavier last game out there. He only scored 69 total points in the game. Anticipating a bounce back in this one?
No, I am not playing the Creighton for. It's only for home games. I don't do it on the road. I mean, I actually like Villanova in the first half, and it pains me for several reasons. You guys know I love Creighton, and I actually despise Villanova, but I just think we get a really good effort from Villanova right out of the gates. I think they were embarrassed by the way they played. They gave up 70%. 2-pointers to Creighton in that game in Omaha. I mean, that's just not the way Villanova plays defense. Now, I know this is not the Villanova defense we've seen in the past. Plus, I got to wonder what the fallout is after Coach Mack's comments to his kids in the locker room. Look, I know he apologized yesterday. I know that, some people are saying the right things when it comes to what happens, but I don't know. I mean, maybe it lingers early on. Maybe they're not giving their best effort. I don't know. I'm assuming that the kids are going to play hard for them. But I just like Villanova in the first half. I think they come out with their hair on fire at home and give a really good effort. Go up like 6 or 7 points at halftime.
Villanova getting some love, open up 4. I'm seeing 5s in a lot of places. Total coming down a little bit from 147 to 146.5 in this matchup here, guys. So that, I believe, is at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time tonight for that tip. So a little bit of a late start there. We're going to take a look at this UConn Seton Hall game. That's the next one up here. This opened up as Connecticut a point, actually a pick 'em, and now I'm seeing UConn getting the love at 1.5. Total hovering around that 136 mark here. And Dave, your thoughts here on this UConn team traveling now, taking on Seton Hall today?
Yeah, and this is one of the games that falls into what I was talking about. I just don't know how important the game is to Connecticut. They're in the tournament. They're going to make it. Okay, I don't see any way they're not. I suppose if they lost this game and Georgetown, maybe they'd be in trouble. But they look like they're in at this point. Seton Hall cannot say that. Seton Hall needs wins badly. So I don't know where the importance is in this game. The Big East tournament is coming up, and I don't know what I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'd like to give you some good analysis of the game. I think Connecticut's a better basketball team, but these are games I typically stay away from at the end of the season, and because I think that they've got bigger fish to fry, which is the Big East tournament. So I can't play it. I mean, it's strictly a guess on UConn because if they play their game, they're better than Seton Hall. But I can't back it with money, and that's with zero conviction.
Matt, do you agree with the market move there, favoring Connecticut 1.5 in this one from a pick'em?
I mean, in theory, yeah. I mean, in terms of you see that Seton Hall's lost 2 straight and Connecticut's won 2 straight. I'm assuming that's what the betting public is seeing. I really like Seton Hall's potential, but we haven't seen it lately. I mean, the Butler loss was ugly. I watched a lot of that game, and they just couldn't get anything going. And then you watch that Georgetown game, and they couldn't make the stops at Georgetown when it mattered. I think that obviously this game means more to Seton Hall in terms of their NCAA tournament. Granted, I don't think UConn's definitely in either, although their profile is incomplete considering they had all those games without Book Night. But as Dave said, this was an easy pass for me in terms of I can't trust either of these 2 teams. I don't know what I'm going to get from Seton Hall. Seton Hall at their best should beat UConn this evening, but Seton Hall at their best only shows up, it feels like, once every couple of games.
Side or total in this one, Tony Mejia? Which way are you looking at this?
Definitely side, but I'll say, for those that watch our NBA show, this is the contrarian play of the day in college basketball. And I hope it has no power because I think I'm leaning UConn. Seton Hall, like Matt said, lost 2 straight. They looked brutal against Butler. They shot 6 for 27 from 3-point range. Miles Cale, who had 20 against the Huskies in the first game, he's only had scored in double figures in one of the last 5 games. He's clear shooting slump. Mamukelashvili had 6 turnovers last time out. He doesn't look like himself, and it is a game that Seton Hall needs badly. But I think UConn comes in here with Book Night just coming back. I think this is probably his 3rd game, maybe 4th, since returning. They're 7-2 with him in that lineup. They're playing for seeding. They're playing to eliminate all doubt about getting in. And most importantly, as a unit, they're playing to build new chemistry because a lot of guys stepped up while he was out, and now he's got to keep them all fed while also imposing his will. So this is a good test for UConn. I think the Huskies win this game. And I want to see them do it. I want to put them in an upper echelon with other, especially with how wide open this college basketball race is. I want to have some teams that I enjoy watching and feel like I can depend on. UConn can certainly be that if all the pieces fall into place. And Seton Hall is a good measuring stick for that tonight on the road.
Yeah, going to be a good game. 6:30 Eastern time tip for that one, as is our next game, guys. That being Florida and Mizzou here tonight. This too also 6:30 Eastern time in Gainesville. And what can we say about this Missouri team, mid-major, Matt? Besides the wheels seem to have been falling off. Losers of 4 out of their last 5. Florida has put together a nice little run. Big win against Kentucky over the weekend. The number in this one, 4.5 for Florida. Total is at 142.5 in some places. So how are you leaning in this game?
I like Florida in this game. I realize that for the Mizzou side, they're coming off a week off, and maybe they get to refresh and charge the batteries. But you look at these last 5 games, the only victory they had was at South Carolina. They scored 93 on South Carolina. It feels like everybody's scoring 90 on South Carolina on a game-to-game basis. But you look at the offense, they struggled against Mississippi twice. They were able to run with Arkansas, but lost at home in overtime. And then there was that Georgia game. And I just think Florida's playing good basketball right now. Now, with regards to the spread, I'm a little leery. I think stylistically, Missouri can keep it close. So what I kind of did today was I took Florida and did a money line parlay with Villanova. Comes out to a plus price. They're both short numbers. And so I think Florida wins the game. Missouri could cover this game, but I think Florida wins. So I paired them off with Villanova for a little money line parlay today.
All right, good stuff. Tough to trust this Missouri team here, Tony Mejia. I mean, just flat out. It's hard, especially on the road. It's just hard to do.
Yeah, fresh legs might help. Xavier Pinson's in a 4 for 20 slump. They list Javon Pickett, one of their top reserves, as questionable. I think you need all hands on deck if you're Missouri here. They're on decent ground as far as the NCAAs is concerned because they're 6-4 against quad ones. But they need this game more than the Gators do. So from that standpoint, I'm going to stay away from the sidewise, especially if you're getting points with Missouri. But I think this is an under game for me. The fact that Quanzo Martin typically likes to slow down pace if they can protect the ball and don't turn it over. I think they can keep Florida from getting out in transition. And then the Gators, a little suspect in the half court on offense. And I think defensively, they've really improved with Castleton protecting the paint. So that would be my lean here, slightly in on the under.
They've got some experience, certainly the experience edge over Florida in this one, Dave, and they're going to need to rely on that because they have an opportunity to turn it around. Do you think they can do it on the road tonight?
I give Missouri a pretty good shot in this game. It's a really big game for them. They have not played well lately. Matt went through their recent ledger, which is pretty ugly, but they've got everybody on the floor tonight. And look, from a situational standpoint, this could be a little bit of a dead spot for Florida. They're coming off a huge win against Kentucky. Prior to that, against Auburn, 2 big road wins. Coming home, this is where a team can get a little bit flat. And I can't guarantee that's going to happen, but I think it could happen in this game. And Missouri absolutely needs the game. Missouri is not a good offensive team, but the good news for them is I don't think Florida's a particularly good defensive team. I think Gators' strength is more their offense than their defense. I think Missouri's going to pull the upset tonight. I didn't bet it because, again, I'm staying away from these regular season windups for the most part. But it's probably the closest call I have on the schedule tonight in terms of a game I didn't play that I like. I think Missouri plus the points is the way to go.
All right. Big game here tonight, certainly for Mizzou. That's a 6:30 Eastern time tip-off. We do have one more game that we'll take a look at, and that, of course, UCLA and Oregon in the Pac-12. But a quick reminder, guys, best bets up and available right now across the board for our folks at WagerTalk.com, including Tony Mejia, Dave Koken, and, of course, SportsMemo.com. You've got mid-major Matt already. Great night last night, 4-1 for him, already off to a 1-0 day today. So opportunities galore to make it a profitable Wednesday. Head over to WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. And let's take a look at this 9 p.m. Eastern time tip, guys. UCLA taking on Oregon here tonight. And Tony Mejia, I'm going to come to you. I'm looking at a 4.5 Oregon at home spread, 135 for a total. Not a whole heck of a lot of movement here. Oregon, nice to be home. UCLA, do you trust them enough to be able to go on the road and beat this Oregon team?
They could, but I definitely don't trust them. My lean would be to Oregon. I wouldn't want to lay this many points, although I might. We'll have to see. But I definitely wouldn't ride UCLA because they fell apart down the stretch at Colorado, and I don't think it was the altitude. I think they were just a little too young, and that was my fear for them entering the season. You know, it's Tiger Campbell's team, but he's a young point guard. He got outplayed by McKinley Wright. Now he's got to go up against Chris Duarte, who throws everybody off their rhythm. And that's where my true lean comes in on this game. I really think that this is an under game, despite the fact that they've set a pretty low bar at 134. It's fairly unassuming, but I think it's that for a reason. I have it 67-63 in my initial numbers. And again, it's a game that UCLA needs. They both need it. Winner walks out with first place in the Pac-12 entering the weekend, and still USC and Colorado are both in the mix. But yeah, I think, at heart, both of these coaches treasure defense. It's Mick Cronin and Dana Altman. They'll have tricks up their sleeve for each other defensively. If turnovers don't lead to easy baskets, this is one of those games that could really get mired and bogged down with multiple scoring droughts. So give me the under big time.
Looking at the under. Dave, hard to believe this is 4 times this game was supposed to be played, and it was canceled this year because of COVID issues. They finally get it done. Timing is everything. Of course, Oregon seems to be getting hot right at the right time, going for their 4th in a row. Is this number a little high for you, though, at 4.5?
Well, I think the odds makers did a good job adjusting for Oregon's play, which we've mentioned this so many times. This team always gets better as the season goes on under Dana Altman. They're doing it again. They were outstanding against Arizona the other night. Close game for about 30 minutes, and then Oregon just put them away. That was impressive. I think the number's a bit high. I made it Oregon minus 3.5, so I don't really want to play it. But I'm not going to get in the way of the Ducks again. Made a mistake with Arizona the other night. Fortunately, haven't made many mistakes lately, but that was one. And I won't repeat that error. Oregon is just too hot to fade right now, but you're paying a premium if you want to back the Ducks in this game.
Yeah, it's hard to go against Oregon at home here, mid-major Matt. Is that something you're willing to do, though, in this game?
Probably not. I mean, the only thing that's concerning, well, a couple of things that are concerning. One is the quick turnaround playing Monday against Arizona at home, and it's, a big game whenever they play each other and anybody plays Arizona. And two, you watch Oregon enough, you see the talent there, and they get these stretches where they look like the best team in America, and then they have these stretches where they can play down to anybody. And I go back to that stretch where they played on the road against Arizona and Arizona State when they started putting this roster together and getting everybody healthy. They should have won both those games by double figures. Now, eventually they pulled away in the Arizona State game, but they kept playing around with them. And then on UCLA, I mean, they've got the shooters to shoot over the zone. It's just, Dana Altman's really good at manipulating the zone and, fixing things up a little bit, patching up some holes. So, this could be a good live betting situation also to get a feel for how both teams are attacking each other. And if you want to play the under in game or if you want to play an over in game, whatever it is, this feels like a very good live betting contest tonight.
All right. Well, it's going to be a hell of a game here tonight. Also happens to be from our friends from the Gold Sheet. It does seem to be the play of the game for them as well. UCLA and Oregon in this matchup here, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But that's a 9:00 Eastern time game, guys. Make sure you keep an eye on that. 9 p.m. Eastern time, the late game, UCLA at Oregon. All right, time to catch our breath here and get some best bets from the gentlemen here today. We're going to start with Tony Mejia, my friend, and let us know which game on the card you circled for us here.
I'm going to guess that Gold Sheet play of the day's projected score 67-63.
Yeah, I knew that handwriting looked familiar.
I'm going with another under in my best bet, and it's to the OVC where Belmont's playing SIU Edwardsville. It's the 1-8 matchup there. And Belmont has destroyed SIU twice this season, 94-62, and before that, 114-62. So at least SIU has been consistent in scoring 62 while letting Belmont score over 100 points per game in 2 victories. But I think this one's actually going to be lower scoring. Nick Muszynski missed the final week of Belmont's regular season, and their 30-0 OVC run went kaput. They lost twice that week. So they're still the number 1 seed. I don't think they had much to play for. But the fact that Muszynski didn't play was alarming. And now he's going to come back, and they clearly don't need him for this one. I think it'll just be, let's get him out there, work off the rust, and move on to Friday when the real games begin in the semifinals. But for that reason, I think they'll play a lot of their bench down the stretch. Their bench not as strong, moving the ball as the starters are. SIUE, their leading scorer, I think, played on the program. Low key because it hasn't been announced, but he hasn't played. Sidney Wilson, the UConn transfer in a few weeks. So they're out their biggest gun in terms of firepower. And again, when conference tournament games are done at about the 10-minute mark of the second half, everybody just wants to get out of there. So we should see minimal fouls down the stretch, running clock even. I've got it 78-53, which is well below the posted total. So that's my free play. It'll be a client play as well. Go under in that OVC quarterfinal.
8 p.m. Eastern time tip-off for that game, guys. Still plenty of time for you to be able to get that up and in. And Dave, how about you, my friend? Where are you going tonight?
Again, I have one basketball play up. It's a tournament game, and it's a later game, so plenty of time to get that. I've got an NHL best bet for tomorrow that I already posted. It's a game I like quite a bit. It was almost a 5% play for me. I graded it 4, but it's on the strong side of 4. Let's put it that way. My golf outrights are available as well for my all access subscribers. Don't forget the package with Ralph and myself. It's just a fantastic offer. All our college basketball plays right through the championship game, $299 for both of us. As for the best bet, one I talked about already, so no need to rehash that. But I like Missouri plus the points against Florida.
Yep. All right. It's going to be a good game. Looking forward to that one. And mid-major Matt, my friend, where are you going here today on the show?
Creighton first half. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. That was no. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I have the people in the chat. They were asking for it. I can't do it. It's a road game. Sorry about that. So I got to do my mid-major special today. It's one of my favorite teams. They've only got 2 games left in their season. I'm taking Stephen F. Austin tonight at home. Essentially, it's a pick 'em -1, whatever it is, against Abilene Christian. This is a revenge game for Stephen F. Austin. They lost by 20 to Abilene Christian back on January 27th. It was an ugly game for Stephen F. Austin. Turned the ball over way too much, and that is a concern. They're a team that turns the ball over way too much, but it's their final home game of the season against a rival, against a team that's really good in the conference, and just remember, they have a postseason ban, so they only have 2 games left. It's a highly senior-laden team that's really efficient on offense. They're top 10 in 2-point percentage. They are really good at offensive rebounding the ball. Abilene Christian coming off the head-scratching loss to Central Arkansas. They're just not the same on the road. They lost at Sam Houston State. They barely beat Lamar on the road. They barely beat Incarnate Word on the road. I expect Stephen F. Austin to give a highly motivated effort tonight and win this game outright against their rival, Abilene Christian, in the Southland Conference.
All right, guys, there you go. I'm going to go Utah. They got their big Finnish national team player back there. They lost all 4 games while he was playing for that Finnish national team. Mikhail, is it Jonathan? How do you pronounce that there, Tony Mejia?
I believe it's Jankiton, isn't it?
It's Jankiton. I think so, too. Yep, and he's back tonight. It's at 4.5 in some places, too, as well, taking on Oregon State. Utah's at home. He's back. I like them by double digits, in fact. So, guys, don't forget, you got Tony Mejia locked and loaded, ready to go today, as well as Dave. He told you, he lined it up, guys. WagerTalk.com. Mid-Major Matt, head over to SportsMemo.com. Coming off of that 4-1 day yesterday. He's already 1-0 today. Plenty of opportunities, guys, to make it a profitable Wednesday. It starts by heading over to WagerTalk.com. And go get Mid-Major Matt at sportsmemo.com. So on behalf of Tony Mejia, Dave Kogan, and Mid-Major Matt, guys, hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner. Hit subscribe. Make sure you come back and join us again tomorrow as we do it all over again, wrapping up the final week here of the regular season in college hoops, getting ready for some conference play coming up next. So best of luck with your plays, guys. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Each and every Thursday, SportsMemo.com goes back in time, and you can get daily pick packages priced for only $5. And yes, for those wondering, that includes any 5% best bets normally priced at $30. This is the real Throwback Thursday. As an added bonus, all first-time customers will be credited $25 in wager bucks after those initial $5 purchases. So each and every Thursday, make sure you go to SportsMemo.com, get your favorite capper's best bet for only $5.